They say take a picture and last long. They say take a picture and last long.
That's for the camera. Oh, that's
Woo-wee. That much. I know her.
Even though I've already been in here. This could be worn as a dress and also is classified as a vest. Well, those hippie women, we can wear this as a vest and you can wear some leggings above it. I did have a skirt above it, then they made me pull it off, so. But the thinner women, it would definitely be a nice vest coat or a dress. I'm a little hippie, so it can do either way. So I'm on. If I follow Dr. Block's instructions, I will be. Oh, there he is. I got last minute.
He comes in the skirt right there with the calories all down his back.
Oh, okay.
Where about it?
Late.
Too late.
Come on, Amber. 807. 807. 807? Thank you. Yeah, you got 807. Yeah, look at this. Easy present to win. Now you got 807. 1 Why you want to say something like that? Go ahead, all y'all.
806.
No, 816.
842.
There's a switch on it.
Could we have the folks from the third row back come up a little bit? We want to get a little closer together. So Nita, Sophia, Carol, Joe come up this way. There's even room on the front row here. We sort of had gotten behind schedule, and we definitely wanted to give Sister Gwynelle her just due. We have to come all the way from Nashville to be with us.
Nashville.
So I'm going to just briefly introduce her because I think a lot of what she does will kind of say what she is and who she is. But she comes from Nashville. She was born and raised there. These are two of her books that they're back on the table. One of them is Affirmations for Year-Round Kwanzaa. And we definitely can relate to this because in OBS we say that the principles of Kwanzaa are really supposed to be practiced every day, not just the 7 days of Kwanzaa. So this is one of her books, and this one is African Alchemy, which is a collection of essays. And the sister is a very fine poet, and she's very much into music and arts. And with having said all of that, I'm going to bring you Gwynelle.
Give thanks and praise to the Most High, and I give thanks to my ancestors for the opportunity to share with you what has been shared with me. I would like to begin this evening by asking everybody to just sit comfortably, relax your hands, and I want us to just do a little deep breathing. When we breathe, there's so much that happens inside our bodies that we just aren't aware of, but breathing is, of course, what keeps us alive. And we are also reminded in breathing that we all are breathing the same air, so that each breath we take really connects us to every other living thing on the planet. But as we go through our day, we really aren't aware of that. And so anytime that we're able to stop and consciously breathe, we are able to bring that connection into our being. We're able to make those chemical changes in our body as we get more oxygen to our cells. And our bodies kind of tingle with life that they haven't really had because we haven't been getting the air that we need. So I'd like us to breathe in to the count of 4 and breathe out through your mouth to the count of 4. And as you breathe in, I want to ask you to imagine the blood and the blood carrying the oxygen moving up all through your body, starting at your feet, and moving all the way up through your legs, and through the middle part of your body, through your chest, and all the way up into your head. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine that you are releasing all of the stress and the anxiety, all of the tension, all of the negativity. So you're breathing in clear revitalizing air, and you're letting go of all of the toxins that have been built up. So I want everybody to get comfortable and get ready to breathe. We're going to breathe in to the count of 4. Starting now. If you want to close your eyes, feel free to do so. And let whatever image, whatever thought, whatever passes through, just let it pass through. Let it pass through just like the breath passing through your body. Okay? And let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I should be hearing a real rush of air as you breathe in. I mean, we want a good deep breath here, you know, okay? Because we're getting ready to do something here. We're getting ready to clean our bodies out. So we need a good rush of breath. So let me hear a good rush of breath this time, okay? Are we ready? Okay, and 1. Oh, that's much better. 2, 3, 4, and out. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now I want us to breathe in, and this time when you breathe out, I'm going to give you a tone. And as you breathe out, I want everybody to just breathe out on that same tone. Make that same audible tone, okay? So here we go. One more time, really push it out, and I want you to feel your chest reverberating with this sound that's coming out. Okay? Okay, now, did everybody feel that? Okay. Ladies, I want to say to you that there is no power, there is no title of authority on this earth that can overcome the power of that sound. And I want you to keep that thought with you so that when you go home, in the darkness and the quiet and stillness of whatever time and space that you have, that you can make that tone or make your own tone and feel the power of that tone. And then remember the power that we have generated in this room as we have intoned that tone together. And always remember that there is no power on this earth that can overcome that tone. It may match that tone, but it cannot overcome it. And if we are able to reach for a higher power to combine with our own, then we can always overcome it. My book, African Alchemy, talks about the need for transformation of our society. Clearly, we are in a desperate situation, and piecemeal solutions will not work. We have to have a total change in the foundation of our society. We have to have a change in the values that we hold, in where we place our priorities. We have to change the way we think about everything. We have to change the way we perceive the world around us and the way we perceive our place in it. And this change is the change that forms the basis for transformation of our society. And transformation of our society can only come about through the transformation of each individual person. And the basis for this transformation is our change in consciousness. Now, a change in consciousness does not mean that we simply acquire new information or that we acquire new formulas, but that throughout our entire being, there is a change in the way we vibrate in response to this plane that we're on. And we cannot have that kind of change just by reading books or listening to people talk. We have to do things. We have to involve our total being in this change. And it is for this reason that I believe that African culture points the way to how we can do this. Because first and foremost, fundamentally, African culture is a holistic proposition. Everything is connected. Nothing is separate. Each person has value because they are part of the whole, and the whole is not complete without them. If you think of a puzzle, you may have every piece of that puzzle but one, and that one piece may be the smallest, most insignificant piece, but your puzzle is not complete without it. And we have to start looking at each and every human being out here, no matter who they are or what they have done or what they are doing now or what they may potentially do, as a piece of our puzzle, and we are not complete without him. We ourselves individually are not complete until we can encompass each and every other person out there. Now, when we talk about changing consciousness and involving our whole selves in this process, another thing that we find in African culture is that the sacred is a part of everyday life. And I think that when we talk about changing our perceptions here, we have to talk about bringing the sacred into our lives. Now, I'm in recovery, and one of the first 3 steps of recovery, which are so fundamental, are 1, to recognize and admit the fact that we are out of control. So we have to say that this problem has gone beyond us. And then 2, we have to believe that there is a way out. We cannot say, oh, things are so desperate and I just don't know what's going to happen. We have to say things are so desperate and something is going to happen. We don't have to know what it is, but we have to believe that there is a way out. Otherwise, how are we going to get out? So the second step is to believe that even though we may not be able to do it ourselves, we can do it somehow with the help of something or someone else. And then the third thing we do is to give our problem to that someone or something else. To involve them in our issue. Call down your higher power and say, feel this pain with me. Call down your higher power and say, help me now. But we have got to reach out to that. And we don't reach out by going to church on Sunday and praying. And we don't reach out just by getting on our knees in the morning and in the evening and praying. The sacred, the divine, the higher power has to be in every minute of our lives. Now, a sister that I met who works with Jamal, Marion, just came back from Bali, Indonesia. And Marion is a European sister, and I believe this was her first contact with a non-Western European culture. And she was so impressed at the whole different attitude that people have, and an entirely different way of viewing the world that they have. And one of the things that she talked about was how every morning the women weave little baskets and they put them up above the door sills, and they put fresh flowers and incense in the baskets. And that's their altar for the day. That's how they start their day. And at a certain place in the village, they put out food for the ancestors, for the spirits. And during the day, the dogs come along and eat the food. Everything's tied together. The dogs are part of it. You know, the dogs aren't separate from our sacredness, from our spirituality. And I have just recently had the very good fortune to participate in an exhibit of women's altars that was held in Nashville, and this is really very remarkable. I don't know any place else really that I'm sure they're doing it someplace else, but it's certainly remarkable for an exhibit this type to happen in Nashville. And you were able to see the common themes. I mean, every woman had candles on her altar. Now, that was just a comment. Most people had crystals on their altar. People had rocks and feathers and stones and various kinds of things, but you were able to see how people were beginning to bring the sacred down into their everyday life by having a place that is your energy center. I have now started, whenever I go out and speak, I set up a little altar because I need it. Because I need something to ground and center and focus me as I'm doing this work. And I need something that gives me the energy. And that's what this altar is. Now, I've had altars in my house for almost 20 years now, and I now have 4 altars all over my house, and one of them is just really enormous, but an altar can be as simple as this. And there are almost always candles on altars because fire has such significance for us as human beings. It is one of the few things that separates us from the animals. And in the Greek story of Prometheus, fire was the thing that allowed man to stand on a par with the gods, and Prometheus was severely punished for bringing fire to man. And fire, above everything else, is illumination. And what we need is light in our lives now so that we can see clearly, because we aren't seeing very clearly and we aren't thinking very clearly because we have so many distractions and we've been subjected to so much double speak and double talk. And we're not going to find our way out of the double talk by going back to the people who have given it to us in the first place. We're going to have to go beyond that. When you look at a candle, something happens to you. You keep looking at flame. You start receiving information that doesn't come from here or here. It comes through your pores. And it comes through the vibrations around you. And so candles and light are very, very important. And just to explain, in this particular setup, this piece right here that I carry around with me, the man that I bought it from called it a sinister bird. And it's a messenger bird. And he said that in various parts of Africa, they used to use this bird. They would tie a message around its neck and it would fly from village to village and carry the news. And so since I consider myself to be a messenger, this bird is kind of my emblem, my token, and it's something that I use to send and receive. In my book, I talk about I give a sort of 5-point formula for transformation. And none of them involve reading. They're all doing things. Because another very important part of the African culture is that it is experience-based. You learn through experience, and your experience connects you to everybody else. We're all familiar with the oral tradition that is part of the African culture. And the thing that's so interesting about the oral tradition is that it perpetuates human contact. You know, you can sit down and write a book and somebody can go take that book and read it. But when you are there with that person exchanging information, there's a whole different thing going on. You learn just incredibly much. And of course, we have lost that. So there are many, many ways that we have to learn how to learn. We have to learn to listen to the wind. We have to learn to read the signs and the sunlight streaming through the window. We have to learn to feel the mud between our toes and get a profound realization about our lives from that. And so what I've suggested in my book is that we take 5 areas and try to incorporate them into our lives. And the first is nature. You know, we as black people are just afraid of going outside, I guess. In the wintertime it's too cold, and sometimes it's too hot, there's too many bugs, and you just are not going to get in touch with your higher power in these concrete surroundings. We've got to get back to nature. We've got to lose our fear of the outdoors, because that is where the lessons are. That's where our ancestors learned. You know, our ancestors learned how to talk to the trees. They learned how to survive out there. And I think it's very real that we need to know how to survive out there, because we may have to. But also because the stress and the strain that we are subjected to in everyday life can be released when we get out in nature. There's a stillness there. There's a comfort. And some of us are not going to find it anyplace else, so we need to learn how to go out and look for it there. The second point is nutrition. And I have been through the strict vegetarian thing, and I've seen people take that to extremes and go through all kinds of tricks with that. But the most important thing about our nutrition is what we are thinking about when we eat, how we are eating. I mean, you can have the healthiest diet in the world, and if you're always gulping it down on the run, you might as well be eating herb sandwiches every day. So once again, it's a holistic thing. You can't separate out and say, this is good for you to eat. You have to say, it's good for me to eat when I'm hungry, not on a schedule. It's good for me to eat when I'm quiet and relaxed. It's good for me to eat what my body tells me it wants and needs right now. It's good for me to eat just as much as I need and not too much. And it's good for me to eat because my body wants to be fed and not to satisfy some other need. So it is the consciousness that we bring to our eating that changes the way we affects our bodies. Movement. We as African people need to move. I have not been to a party where I've danced in so long, I cannot remember, and I find this horrible. So much so that I dance alone. I have to. It is an essential part of my survival in this world. I have been many times just frustrated beyond belief. And I would come home, and because I listen to a lot of African music, there's a lot of drums, and it's pounding this, and I'll put on one of those pieces, and I will dance. And I do not stop dancing until I have screamed, until I have sweated, until I have cried, and until I have laughed. And when I have been through all of those, I'm a new person. I'm a new person. But our bodies are reflections of our consciousness. So when our bodies are tense, our minds are tense. We can't think clearly when we're tense. And all the emotions that we're not allowed to express on a daily basis get held in our body. Our bodies remember everything that happens. And if our bodies don't have a chance to work that out, they stay knotted up. And we just do not have any progress in the movement. So when you dance, when you stomp your feet, when you shake it out, when you scream, your body has a chance to release all of that and to let in some light, some clarity, some air. So movement is another part. Also, the other thing about movement is that it helps us to become more comfortable in our bodies. As long as we are not comfortable in our bodies, we are constantly held back by fear and doubt and wondering, what are people thinking, or I'm just not comfortable. You just can't be clear when you're not comfortable. But when we move, our bodies are able to express their consciousness. We can become aware of our body and what it needs, and we can begin to work with it instead of working against it. And I think that especially for us as Black women, it's so important for us to accept our bodies and be comfortable in our bodies, because we have been attacked for our bodies for so long. And part of our coming into our power is to recognize what our bodies mean, what they can do for us, what they have done for us. They birthed babies. They brought life into the world. They have bled. And our bleeding is nothing but the tears that we cry, our body crying monthly, because we are in such a wretched condition. We need to recognize that. We need to appreciate that. And our bodies will be good to us in return if we will start being better to them. Meditation is the fourth point. Sometimes when I speak to groups of people, I know that they've been through the cycle, they're into meditation. Because when I say, okay, everybody, we're going to breathe now, it's like the whole group just kind of changes here. Everybody gets ready because they're used to that, they're into that. And breathing does tie in with meditation, because meditation is you breathe. You breathe in a controlled way in meditation. But also in meditation, you learn how to become aware of the energy in your body and how it's moving. So that just like earlier when I said, imagine the blood coming up through your body. As you meditate, as you really focus deeper and deeper inside, you can feel the energy moving. You can move the energy. You can find out where the blockages are, You can find out that there's something that's not allowing the energy to move in your throat, and then you discover that the throat is what governs the will, the chakra that controls the will, so you know that you have some issues with will. Or maybe you find that the energy is not moving down in here. This is the solar plexus area. And so this is the chakra that deals with holding and generating energy. And it also is, for us women, it's our reproductive area. So when we are having problems here, we know that we are having problems dealing with basic issues of our femininity and our womanhood. And then we know that we need to address those. So meditation is very important because we have to be still enough to shut out the noise and the distractions, to shut out the double talk, and listen to what is inside of us, because that's when we begin to hear and recognize the truth. And the fifth point of this formula is ritual. And ritual is a way to bring the sacred into our lives, and a way to express and demonstrate our intention to be in harmony, to be in balance. Part of ritual could be setting up an altar. Ritual can be very, very simple, or it can be very, very complex. It can be very deep. It can just take you all the way out as far as you want to go. It can allow you to move the energy in the world that you need to move. In my book, I've given an example of ritual as being something as simple as planting a seed in the spring. But you plant this seed with consciousness. You recognize that your selection of a particular kind of seed means something. I mean, do you choose a marigold seed or a pumpkin seed? And what does that mean to you? What does the act of putting the seed in the ground mean? What does it mean that you're doing this at springtime? What's happening in your body that corresponds with the planting of that seed? And so as you think on all these things, you begin to receive a lot of information, a lot of insight about what's going on way, way above and beyond just that seed and that dirt. And as I'm talking about this, I am reminded of this piece that Jamal put up that I just think is so great, and I'm just going to read it to you. It says, compañeros, which is friends and companions, take heart. Though your roots be torn, they will grow again in new ground, and brighter days will rise from the fertile dark. So we're reminded that darkness is fertility. our blackness is what the earth and all the universe was created out of. I mean, in the Bible it says, in the beginning there was the Word, which is sound, which is that very sound that we've made, maybe not even that same tone, but it is the same quality of sound. In New Zealand, the natives there say that the world was sung into creation. Sound is powerful. The sound of our voices, when you tell a little child, it's okay, it's all right, don't worry, you're soothing that child with your voice. It's not the words that you're saying, it's the vibration of your voice. It's the energy in your voice. And it is that same energy that I have just said cannot be overcome in this way. And then it says, God said, let there be light. So obviously, what was there? Darkness. So in the beginning, there was darkness. Everything comes out of us. And this is where we begin to change our perception. Because now we realize we are the source of everything. It has all come out of us. We, each and every one of us, are just little bits and pieces of the great blackness of space from which everything comes. Doesn't that make you feel a little bit different about who you are and what you're doing here? I have gotten so into this that at one point, I looked on my TV and I saw white people on the TV, and for the first time in my life, they looked unreal to me. And I was just excited because it meant that my perceptions were changing. That I no longer saw white people in the way that I saw them. I no longer see black people in the way that I used to see them. I see something entirely different now. And it's very, very exciting. I think it started when a girlfriend of mine said to me, you know, sometimes when I'm downtown, I'm sitting at a stoplight or something, I see black folks walking across, and I just strip all their clothes off and put them in African clothes and put them in an African village. And I started doing that. And that's how I started looking at black people differently. Because I started seeing all kinds of new things in those faces. I started looking at black women with high heels and stockings and suits and stuff. I just took all that stuff off and put them in some beautiful, you know, like the sister back there is wearing and the sister here is wearing it. Oh, what a difference. What a difference. I began to see who we are supposed to be, who we were, who we have to try to become. And it is not what we are now. And it is, in fact, not even anything that we can envision because we have been so mashed in and so compressed in our thinking. We don't even have a clue how great we can be. But if we begin to open our minds, if we begin to follow the visions that come to us, we will get greater and greater sights of where we can be and what we can do. Now, I would like to involve everybody here in a brief ritual. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass out some pieces of pencils. Okay. I'm going to pass out some pieces of paper here and some pencils.
Right? You remember those pencils were?
People have pencils with pens in their purse.
Oh, where?
Behind
You see him?
Oh, okay. All right. Everybody has a piece of paper?
Everybody has a pen?
That's right. I'll be all right.
Okay. Sister Jamala, when she told me what she wanted me to say, which I haven't even begun to speak about yet, she wanted me to talk about writing. So I want to say a little bit about writing. I myself have always written, I've always said my stuff is regurgitated because I don't work at it. It just comes. Writing for me has always been an expression of my inner self. Writing for me has always been a truly inspirational process. But over the years, I've also come to recognize the power of more conscious writing that we undertake to do. And it is very powerful. A lot of people, in working with their altars, will write down their requests, write down what it is that they want, and they'll put it on their altars. Let me just add something to that. I do that occasionally. And when I write what I want, at the end, I put thank you, because I know I want it. Writing crystallizes our thoughts. It brings them into a certain kind of manifestation because now they're on a piece of paper that we can go back and read or somebody else can read. And talking again about this holistic perspective, there's, in certain parts of the Islamic tradition, there are healers who use writing to heal. And the way they do this is the patient will come and describe their problem, and then the healer, with ink, writes words on a slate, and then with water will rinse off that ink. And then the patient is given this ink to drink. So the power of the healing is in the actual physical words. The energy is gone into writing the words, and then that energy is physically absorbed by the patient. Wish they do that here. I could get into that. So, this is just an example of the power of writing, which has obviously been lost. I mean, writing now. But we can reclaim that power. We can reclaim anything we want. And if we want to reclaim the power of that writing, we can do it. And the first way we do it is by writing things that are meaningful to us. So what I want everybody to do is to take a minute, and I want you to just write on that paper what you might envision in your heart's desire if you had all the power available to you to do anything for yourself or in terms of the world, and to see that manifest. What would that look like? Not what would you do, but what would it look like to have your heart's desire manifest? What would your ideas for your life, or the world, or your family, or us as a people, how would that manifest? What would it look like? So I want you to take this a minute and try to write that down in as brief and concise a way as you can. Okay. Okay. After you have written this, I want you to fold your paper. And as you fold your paper, I want you to think about what folding is. Folding is protecting. Folding is preserving. Folding is putting things in order. Folding is making things smaller. And there are all kinds of other connections that you can make to folding. So think about your own connection to folding this piece of paper and what that means. And then on the outside, I want you to put your name or some mark so that you'll be able to identify your piece of paper. Okay, now, what I want you to do, and I want you to listen to the explanation first before you start. But I'm going to have you pass your paper to the end of the row, and then I'm going to have the person at the end of the row bring those pieces of paper up and put them in the basket. Now, as we're doing this, I want you to think about the person on the end who's giving their hopes and their dreams to another sister to pass on. And each sister that collects paper, each sister is collecting a little more paper, more dreams to carry on. And with those dreams, you pick up some responsibility for moving those dreams along. You're all connected in this process. And then when it comes to the person at the end, they have to bring it up here. Everybody's connected in this process. So I want you not only to pass this piece of paper, but to pass that energy. Because your paper getting here depends on all of these folks. And so you've got to give them the energy to help it get all the way through. Okay, so go ahead and pass your paper. Now you all again come up and put paper here in the basket. And think as you do so that we are combining in this action all of our hopes and our dreams and putting them together here in this one spot, this one energy location. Where they can talk amongst themselves and draw energy from each other. Okay. I'd like everybody to take just a minute to just breathe, to think about what you just written, what you just put up there, to send it some energy, and then to pull some energy out. Because every altar moves energy both ways. So that when you now connect with your piece of paper in this basket, you're also connecting with all the other energy that's in that basket. So I want you to just take a minute just to feel that energy moving between you and this altar, moving around among all your sisters. Okay. I want to bring this to a close by doing a poem. And in this poem, I'm going to call on 4 energies from the African tradition. The first is Atoapoma. She's from the Akan tradition of Ghana, and she's a mother creator figure. The second is Oshun, who is from the Yoruba tradition. She's a river goddess. The third is Yemonja, who's also from the Yoruba tradition. She is also a mother figure, and she's also a water goddess, but not necessarily connected to rivers. Oshun is the more youthful personality of the two. And the last one is Mamiwata, who is a very interesting personality. She deals with snakes. She deals with the snake energy. And the snake energy is the essential kundalini energy that goes up the spine. So, anyway, I wanted to do this point for you. In the beginning was the womb, and from the womb came life. I am she who has given birth to the world in countless myths. I am the aspect of water, wind, and fire. Atoapoma, Yemonja, Oshun, Mamiwata. These are all my names, but my face remains the same. When earth was first embraced by sky, it was I who felt things. And when the goddess Nut stretched out her arms and bent to form the Eve, it was I, Aset, who stood beneath her arch. Yemonja, Atoapoma, Oshun, Mamiwata. These are all my names, but my face remains the same. Wherever I go, in whomever I walk, I carry grace. I am the Queen Mother, the great goddess, the eternal feminine in each and every woman. As I have always been, so shall I always be. Come, my sisters, let us walk like Yemonja. Let us, like Aset, piece our black men back together. Let us, like Oshun, be the river of love that flows through the lives of others and makes them bloom. Let us have the strength and the discipline of Mamiwata. Let us, like Atoapoma, be the mother creators of a new and different world. light, and love. Thank you. I want to invite you to come up when we finish. I don't know if anyone has any questions they want to ask, but when you finish here, come up and take your piece and take it home and maybe put it on your altar or put it under your pillow or do something with it to remind yourself that that little piece of paper now has a lot of other energy tied in with it.
I have a comment, and because as we were passing papers, I felt it, and once everybody had placed the papers in, I felt a lot of warmth in me. I don't know if anybody else, but I felt this warmth. But when you start talking about the altar, I don't know, most of us have some place in the house that we put certain things that we go to at a certain point. And I think we never realized that it had been an altar or we use it because we go to that point and we have certain things. I have a crystal. Her son made me a clay dough person. And so like I have candles around that and they sit there and then periodically I have incense, a certain kind of incense sitting there and it's serenity. And periodically I burn that with a candle, a blue candle. And so like it's just like, you know, it's the energy. The crystal was given to me and it's shaped like the map of Africa. And and so like it's like it was a gift, a birthday gift, and then Jelani made me the little precious gift. And so it's just been like my little altar, you know, at times. And today, just thinking about everything has really tied in. From my open mic session to when we had the blood pressure, and one of the ladies was speaking to Zawadi about the water flowing. She needed that to open up. Then Dr. Blunt was talking about the breathing, the stress, and the diet, that we are what we eat. But it's like, just what you had said, it's like everybody has not really connected with one another, talking about what was going on or how we would want about doing things. And it just, like in soup, just followed all the way and flowed. And then when you start talking, it's just like, oh, we just left a breathing session and talk about, start to think about relax. And so we come in and start doing the same thing. So it's just been flowing. So I feel good about the program for myself that it just flowed like that. And nobody really knew that we were all going to connect that way. So, thank you.
Close out the session.
You have a question, ma'am?
I had a question right here. Are you a storyteller? Do you tell stories?
I will often tell stories as part of my Kwanzaa presentations, but it's not something that I regularly do. I do the poetry more.
Okay, I teach in the St. Louis public school system, and every year, I used to teach second grade, now I teach fourth, but for 8 years I taught second grade, and we would go, St. Louis has a storytelling festival here, and we look so much like one of the storytellers from last year. She had locks, she talks like you, so you have a twin somewhere that
Let's tell her story.
and all of her stories are African stories that she tells the children about.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'd like to know about that. Yeah.
Can I make a quick announcement that this is the last call for food? Anybody want to order anything?
Is it proper for us to share what we do?
I'd like to.
Oh, yes, certainly.
I mean, from where you were sitting, you were sort of seeing people really involved in it. You talked about it was one piece of paper. See, people were really putting their hearts in it. I was just kind of curious what people.
Well, you know what I would like us to do this? I'd like us, if we could, I think there's actually room enough that we could form a nice little circle here. And if you all want to come and get your piece,
And people can always pass if they don't feel comfortable saying that. Anybody can pass, they're comfortable with.
Spread out first. Look, can I go first?
No,
May I go first?
No, I'm going first. May can go first.
Mine is real brief, and this is something I've been feeling for a long time. Wait, can we get off? Oh, I'm sorry. Everybody let me stop. It's brief, it's general, and something I've been wanting to see again that I haven't seen in a long time. I heard my grandparents and family talk about for years. And it's a community with a lot of love, along with peace to communicate, which makes happiness, wealth, and health, knowing that makes me feel calm, well, with all.
Well, you said what it would look like, and it would look like to me a nation of beautiful people in harmony with each other, living an obedient life to the Creator, and they all possess knowledge of all things. They are happy, laughing, singing, dancing, the young, the old, paying homage to the ancestors and those unborn. Wonderful, beautiful colors I see in the landscaping, clean air to breathe, and crystal blue water.
Mine is like hers, but I can read one word, and that word was joy.
Ooh! Yes.
That's poetry.
Mine is, recently when I went home, my mother started thinking about her brother who had passed, I guess it's been a few years ago, but he had Down syndrome, so he grew up in the South, so therefore they didn't have all the kinds of things that they have now with Down syndrome kids. So she talked about the unconditional love that he had for her, and then she just kind of broke down and started crying. She said she had never had a kind of unconditional love before. So mine is if everybody in the world gave unconditional love to one another, there'd be more respect, more tolerance, more harmony, and more humanity in the world. And it also, as a result of that, be more progress and more growth individually and as a nation.
I folded my paper in such a way because you said that how you fold it would protect the image inside, so I folded it in a triangle. And mine was, I had images of smiling faces, children free from fear, sunny, clear, and a mild day. Then I had sounds, birds singing, ocean waves pounding against the shore, smells, gardens full of sweet-smelling flowers or freshly cut grass.
I wrote a bunch of words. Community, celebration, valued necessary work, equitable distribution of resources and responsibility, respect. And I wrote about how it would really look. It would be like a better change. It would be a better change for the full black and white, and you know, whatever color of people who don't have food, good health, they have better housing and clothes.
Okay, an environment consisting of brotherly and sisterly feelings that would bring about a vibe of oneness, not me, mine, yours, theirs, but ours.
Mine is to live in a spiritually peaceful world. Because there are peaceful societies, but they're not necessarily spiritual.
Okay, mine was, I folded it like this for, as I was thinking about folding it, I was thinking about privacy.
but I like to share it. I said it was a larger village with working in harmony with clean water and
And about the folding, I do a little circle with arrows from the inside coming out, because the knowledge that's within all of us, or you were saying something about, we can tap into, in so many words, tap into resources within us as we communicate with the world outside of us. And I was thinking we bring about something inside of us that we haven't tapped into, that when we're closed and we haven't tapped into all of our resources that are within us. And I was thinking, well, why would I fold it? I want to share it.
When I started folding mine, I didn't know where it was going to be. And when it was finished, I felt like it was a pyramid. And I felt that that gave strength to the manifestation of my dream. And I've heard it before around the circle, but I'll just share the way that I wrote it down. People giving love, each to the other, regardless of anything. Food, shelter, and clothing for everyone. Jobs and education, health care and recreation. Artistic expression, taught and easily available. Children and elderly cared for and protected. Families, villages, communities, knowing that we are all one. Thank you.
I really don't mind what I'm saying.
Did you want to share? Or did you already share? Everybody getting it? If you don't want to, you don't have to. Please feel free to if you like. Anybody didn't read it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to hear everybody else's.
We're not here to judge. We're not here to judge.
I'm the judge. I just wanted to be able to absorb some of this delicious energy.
What do you say?
larger
Yeah, I am, but I want to, I didn't get.
She missed all this good feeling everybody else.
All right, I'll read that and then I want to fix something. Hers is laid out. My totally liberated world. So my totally liberated and egalitarian world would look like. That's actually a visual thing. Okay. Golden sunlight, purple lavender and fuchsia flower petals.
Ooh, yes.
Turquoise, aqua, and varying green shades of undiluted water. And I was just get started, and I said I don't have time to never refer to it.
But I think it's so interesting.
And I got a map of Africa on that side, of course.
Oh.
Everybody knows me, knows me.
What other kinds of symbols did people put, or if anybody used a symbol on the outside of it? A heart?
I just remember my name and look after it's kind of remember Sparkle goes with my last name.
Ah, okay. Did anybody else?
A
A star. I think it's so interesting how there was a common theme, but every expression was different, and every expression was so beautiful. That's
What do you think?
I had everyone in the world gave unconditional love to one another. There'd be more respect, more tolerance, more harmony, and more humanity.
Did you have the one color? Did yours have color too?
Well, mine had a visualization of sights, for example, sunny, clear, mild days, smiling faces, children free from fear. And then I've had sounds and smells. Smell in the garden full of sweet smelling flowers or freshly cut grass. Birds singing, ocean waves pounding against the shore.
You know what I'd like to do to close this out, since we're all here in a circle? What I want everybody to do is grab hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay if you have to take it over. And what I want us to do is I want us to breathe in, and as we breathe in, I want our arms to rise. And then when our arms get up at the top and we're ready to breathe out, I want us to make our sound. Okay. Are we ready for all of that? Okay. All right, everybody, here we go. Ashe, Ashe.
Give me a hug.
She says natural, it's just natural soap, it doesn't same as regular soap does, but only it doesn't have chemicals.
You know,